Welcome to the Christian Readers Podcast, where you can escape into fiction without sacrificing your values. I'm your host, Colleen Mitchell, author of the Chronicles of Narnia. Today, I'm going to cover two classics that are probably the hallmarks of Christian fiction, both of which are also foundations of modern fantasy storytelling. The first is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, and the second is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. I grew up reading Narnia, but I think the first time I read The Lord of the Rings from start to finish was my first year of college, even though I grew up watching the movies. I don't want us to take either of these great works of literature for granted as Christian readers. At any time, we can go back to these two series, 10 total books, and know that we will never have to worry about what we're reading. It's familiar, and sometimes what we need is familiarity. But for those of you who haven't read these books or haven't read them in a long time, this is your sign that maybe it's time to go back and check them out. First off, let's talk about Lord of the Rings. One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. In ancient times, the rings of power were crafted by the elven smiths, and Sauron, the Dark Lord, forged the One Ring, filling it with his own power so that he could rule all others. But the One Ring was taken from him, and though he sought it throughout Middle-earth, it remained lost to him. After many ages, it fell by chance into the hands of the hobbit Bilbo Baggins. From Sauron's fastness in the Dark Tower of Mordor, his power spread far and wide. Sauron gathered all the great rings to him, but he always searched for the one ring that would complete his dominion. When Bilbo reached his 111st birthday, he disappeared, bequeathing to his young cousin Frodo the ruling ring and a perilous quest to journey across Middle-earth, deep into the shadow of the Dark Lord, and destroy the ring by casting it into the cracks of doom. The Lord of the Rings tells of the great quest undertaken by Frodo and the Fellowship of the Ring, Gandalf the Wizard, the hobbits Merry, Pippin, and Sam, Gimli the Dwarf, Legolas the Elf, Boromir of Gondor, and a tall, mysterious stranger called Strider. Book 1 is The Fellowship of the Ring, Book 2 is The Two Towers, and Book 3 is The Return of the King. Technically, The Hobbit is not part of the Lord of the Rings series, but acts more like a prequel as it follows Bilbo Baggins in his original adventure with Gandalf. But it too is a great book for Christians to read. And The Chronicles of Narnia. This is a series of 7 portal fantasy novels by British author C.S. Lewis. The series is set in the fictional realm of Narnia, a fantasy world of magic, mythical beasts, and talking animals. It narrates the adventures of various children who play central roles in the unfolding history of the Narnian world. Except in The Horse and His Boy, the protagonists are all children from the real world who are magically transported to Narnia, where they are sometimes called upon by the lion Aslan to protect Narnia from evil. The book spans the entire history of Narnia, from its creation in The Magician's Nephew to its eventual destruction in The Last Battle. The books listed in chronological order are The Magician's Nephew, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, The Horse and His Boy, Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, The Silver Chair, and The Last Battle. The chronological order is not the publication order, so if you wanted to read them in the order they were published, all you'd have to do is move Magician's Nephew and Horse and His Boy in between Silver Chair and Last Battle, and then swap their order. I prefer reading them chronologically, so there's not a big continuity jump between Silver Chair and Last Battle. Now, both of these classic series have strong Christian themes, and Narnia is a direct allegory to Jesus Christ dying for the sins of the world. Narnia, in particular, inspired my own fantasy series. Now, if you're Christian with a book recommendation, there's a link in the description to text me, and I would love to hear it. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If this resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can find something new to read. God bless, and until next time, goodbye.